The metal detector screamed. Not loud. Sharp. The sound cut through the lobby like a blade. "Hey," a voice snapped. "You. Step back." The man stopped walking. He was black. Mid-40s. Clean coat. Calm hands. People behind him bumped into each other. A woman sighed. Someone checked their phone. "I already went through," he said. The security guard laughed. Not nervous laughter. Not awkward. Cruel laughter. "Yeah," the guard said. "Funny how it always be you people." The second guard leaned on the desk. Smiling. Watching. "Empty your pockets again," he said. "Slow." The man did not move. The guard's smile faded. "Don't make this difficult," the guard added. His hand hovered near the radio. The room felt smaller. The man noticed things most people missed. The camera angle above the desk. The badge numbers. The silence. No one spoke up. A child stared at him from behind a stanchion rope. Confused. "I'm just here for a meeting," the man said. The first guard stepped closer. Too close. "You don't look like someone with meetings here," he said quietly. That line landed heavy. The guard lowered his voice even more. "Or we can take this outside." The man looked at his reflection in the metal detector frame. Then he reached slowly toward his coat. The guard stiffened. And one of them said, "Don't." Cut to black. Step to the side. The guard didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. The man stepped away from the line. Slowly. Calmly. "Why?" he asked. "Secondary screening," the guard said. "Random." The other guard snorted. "Yeah, random." The man noticed how the rope barrier shifted, cutting him off from everyone else. "Hands where I can see them," the first guard said. "They are," the man replied. The guard tilted his head, smiling like this was a game. "Don't get smart." People stared, then looked away. A woman whispered, "Oh no." The man felt heat rise in his chest. He pushed it down. "Is there a problem?" he asked. The second guard leaned back in his chair. "Problem is," he said, "you tripped the detector." "I didn't," the man said. The guard shrugged. "It beeped." "It always beeps for them," the other guard said softly. They laughed. The man stayed quiet. He watched the camera blink red. "You got anything metal on you?" the guard asked. "No." "Wallet." The man handed it over. The guard opened it, looked inside, closed it fast. "Cheap," he said, tossing it back. The man caught it. "Shoes," the guard said. "I already took them off." "Take them off again." The man bent down. Slowly. Every movement felt loud. Behind him, someone cleared their throat. A phone camera lifted, then dropped. "Where you headed?" the second guard asked. "Conference room B." The guard laughed hard this time. "Conference room B," he repeated. "You hear that?" The first guard shook his head. "Man's got jokes." The man straightened. "I'm late," he said. The guard stepped closer. "Don't rush me." Their faces were inches apart now. The guard smelled like coffee and mint. "You nervous?" the guard asked. "No." "You should be." The man felt the old fear stir. Not panic. Memory. Being stopped. Being questioned. Being doubted. "ID," the guard said. The man hesitated. The guard's eyes sharpened. "That a problem?" "No," the man said. He reached into his inner coat pocket. "Slow," the guard warned. The room went quiet. The man pulled out his ID and handed it over. The guard took it with 2 fingers. He glanced at it, then laughed. He didn't stop laughing. "Hey," he called to the other guard. "Come look at this." The other guard leaned in. Their laughter echoed. The man watched their faces. And waited. The guard kept laughing. Not loud now. Low. Private. Like the joke was just for them. "You serious?" the second guard said, squinting at the card. "This supposed to mean something?" The man stayed still. "Yes," he said. "It is." The first guard turned the ID sideways, upside down. "Never seen this before," he said. "Must be fake." "Give it back," the man said. That did it. The guard's smile vanished. "Watch your tone." "I'm asking," the man said. His voice stayed flat. "Respectfully." The second guard slid his chair back and stood. "Respect," he repeated. "You walked into a secure building and tripped an alarm. I didn't trip anything. That's not for you to decide." The guard folded his arms. "People like you always got an answer." The words hit harder because they were quiet. A man in a gray suit shifted near the rope. He looked at the floor. The child from earlier was gone. The guard tapped the ID against his palm. You know what this says to me? He asked. What? The man said. That you don't belong here. The man swallowed. He felt the pressure now. Not hands. Expectation. Expectation that he would snap. Argue. Beg. He didn't. Call your supervisor, he said. The guard laughed again. Already did. He hadn't. The radio on his shoulder was silent. You're being detained, the guard said. For what? The man asked. Suspicious behavior. The phrase sat in the air. Big. Empty. The second guard stepped behind him. Close enough that the man felt breath on his neck. Hands behind your back, the guard said. The man's heart kicked. Am I under arrest? He asked. The guard didn't answer. That answer was an answer. A woman near the line spoke up. Soft. Careful. He didn't do anything. The first guard snapped his head toward her. Ma'am, stay out of this. Her mouth closed. The man saw her grip her purse tighter. The second guard's hand brushed the man's wrist. Don't touch me, the man said. The guard's fingers tightened. Don't resist. I'm not resisting. You're tensing. I'm scared, the man said. That word surprised even him. The guard scoffed. Then you shouldn't have come here. The man felt something break open inside him. Not rage. Truth. I belong wherever the law says I belong, he said. The first guard stepped in fast. Careful. Their faces were close again. I can make this a lot worse, the guard whispered. The man met his eyes. I know. That unsettled the guard. The second guard let go and stepped back. Search him, he said. The first guard patted the man down. Hard. Fast. Sloppy. Hands pressed too long. Checked pockets already checked. The man stared straight ahead. The guard pulled out nothing. See, the man said. The guard ignored him. A phone camera lifted again. This time it stayed up. The guard noticed. Hey, he barked. Put that away. The man followed the guard's gaze. He saw a young woman, early 20s, holding her phone low, screen dark but recording. Their eyes met. She didn't look away. The guard stepped toward her. You recording? She hesitated. Just a second. Yes, she said. The lobby held its breath. The guard looked back at the man. This your friend? No, the man said. Then tell her to stop. I don't control her. The guard smiled thinly. Then you're both about to have a problem. He reached for his radio. This is security too, he said. We got a non-compliant individual refusing screening. Possible threat. The word threat landed like a punch. The man felt his pulse in his ears. That's not true, he said. Not your call, the guard replied into the radio. Static answered. The guard frowned. He tried again. Nothing. The second guard shifted his weight. Let's move him, he said. Where? The man asked. The guard didn't answer. Two hands took his arms. Firm now. Public. Don't, the man said. You're making a mistake. The first guard leaned close. You should have thought about that before. Before what? Walking in? Existing? The man felt eyes on him. All of them. He caught the young woman still recording. She mouthed, I got you. Something tight in his chest loosened. Just a little. The guards turned him toward the side corridor. A door marked authorized personnel only waited. As they walked, the first guard reached for something on his belt. Metal clicked. Cold circled the man's wrist. He looked down. Handcuffs. The guard said almost kindly, Don't make this harder than it has to be. And the cuffs closed. The hallway swallowed sound. The door shut behind them, heavy and final. The lobby noise dropped away like it had never existed. Stand there, the guard said. The man stood. Concrete floor. White walls. A camera in the corner, its red light blinking slow. The cuffs were tight. Not cutting. Just enough. Protocol, the second guard said, like that explained everything. For what? The man asked. Standard procedure, the first guard replied. When someone refuses compliance. I didn't refuse, the man said. The guard tapped a clipboard. You questioned us. That's refusal. The man exhaled through his nose. So words are a threat now. The guard didn't answer. He started writing. The scratching of the pen felt loud. What's your name? The guard asked without looking up. You have my ID. Say it. The man hesitated. Say it, the guard repeated. He did. The guard wrote it down. Slowly. Misspelled. That spelling's wrong, the man said. The guard paused. Then kept writing. Date of birth. The man answered. Reason for visit. I told you. The guard sighed, exaggerated. Conference room B, he said, mocking. Yeah, I wrote that. The second guard leaned against the wall, arms crossed. You know what always messes you people up? He said. The man looked at him. Paperwork, the guard continued. You think it protects you. It should, the man said. The guard smiled. It protects us. The radio crackled. A voice came through. Distant. Uninterested. Status. Detained male, the first guard said. Non-compliant. Reviewing. Supervisor, the voice asked. Requested. Silence. The man felt time stretch. Minutes here felt heavier. He shifted his weight. The cuffs bit. Can I sit? He asked. No. The camera blinked again. You recording? The man asked. The guard glanced up. Always. Good, the man said. The guard's pen stopped. What was that? Nothing. The guard resumed writing. The second guard stepped closer. You got priors? He asked. No. The guard tilted his head. Funny. You carry yourself like you do. The man said nothing. Where are you from? The guard pressed. Here. No, I mean originally. The man met his eyes. Here. The guard scoffed. Figures. The door opened. A third man stepped in. Older. Thicker waist. Same uniform, cleaner. Supervisor. What's going on? He asked. The first guard spoke fast. Alarm trip. Refused screening. Gave us attitude. The supervisor looked at the man. He didn't look long. Is that true? The supervisor asked. No, the man said. None of it. The supervisor nodded like he'd heard that answer before. You got ID? He asked. The first guard handed it over. The supervisor glanced. Barely a second. Then handed it back. All right, he said. What do we got? The man stared. You didn't read it, he said. The supervisor frowned. Excuse me? You didn't read my ID. The supervisor's eyes hardened. Careful. The word landed heavy. I'm being detained without cause, the man said. I want this documented. The supervisor sighed. You want documentation? Fine. He turned to the guard. Write him up. For what? The man asked. Disorderly conduct, the supervisor said. Failure to comply. I complied, the man said. The supervisor shrugged. That's not how it looks. The man felt something cold settle in his stomach. This will follow you, the supervisor added. You understand that? Yes, the man said. And so will this. The supervisor studied him now. Just a beat longer. You threatening me? No, the man said. I'm stating a fact. The supervisor looked away. Move him to holding, he said. The second guard smiled. Copy that. The man's chest tightened. Holding, he asked. It's just a room, the supervisor said. Until we sort this out. Sort what out? The supervisor didn't answer. They turned him toward another door. No window. Thicker metal. As they walked, the man caught his reflection in the glass of a framed evacuation map. Older than he felt. Tired. Still calm. You don't have to do this, he said quietly. The guard snorted. We already are. The door opened. Small room. Bench bolted to the wall. The guard pushed him inside. Sit. The man sat. The door closed. The lock clicked. The silence rushed in. The man breathed slow. Counted it. He stared at the camera above the door. They always think protocol saves them, he murmured. Outside, muffled voices. Think we should check that ID again? One guard asked. The supervisor's voice answered sharp. No. The man closed his eyes. He had waited long enough. The room had no clock. That was the first thing the man noticed. No windows either. Just white walls that had been cleaned too many times. A metal bench bolted into concrete. A camera dome above the door. Waiting rooms were meant to soften people. This one sharpened them. The cuffs were gone now, but the imprint stayed. Red circles around his wrists. Proof even when no one was looking. Minutes passed. Or maybe longer. The door opened just enough for a voice to slip through. You good in there? The man looked up. Yes, he said. The door closed again. He leaned back against the wall. Cold seeped through his coat. He thought of the lobby. The people who had looked away. The young woman with the phone. He wondered if she was still there. If anyone was. His stomach tightened. Being alone made everything louder. Footsteps outside. Then laughter. Soft. Familiar. Bet he won't be smiling later, someone said. Another voice replied, they never do. The man closed his eyes. He didn't pray. He counted. Breath in, breath out. The door opened again, this time wider. The supervisor stood there, hands on hips. You comfortable? He asked. I'm being held without cause, the man said. The supervisor smiled thinly. You're being held until we figure out what to do with you. Do with me, the man repeated. The supervisor stepped inside. Let the door shut behind him. This building runs on rules, he said. You broke some. Which ones? The supervisor tilted his head. Don't play games. I'm not. The supervisor circled him slowly. You think you're smarter than us, he said. I think I know my rights. The supervisor laughed once. That's cute. He stopped in front of the man. You know what I see? He asked. The man waited. I see someone who walked into the wrong place and thought confidence would carry him. The man met his eyes. It usually does, he said. The supervisor's jaw tightened. Careful. Why? The man asked. You've already decided. The supervisor leaned closer. Decided what? That I'm a problem. The supervisor straightened. You made yourself one. The man stood up. Not fast. Not aggressive. Just enough. The supervisor stiffened. Sit down. The man stayed standing. You keep saying protocol, the man said. But protocol has limits. The supervisor laughed again, louder this time. You really don't get it. The man felt the edge now. Not fear. Something sharper. You don't have to understand, the supervisor continued. You just have to wait. For what? For someone higher than me to decide. The man's breath slowed. Who did you call? He asked. The supervisor's eyes flicked for half a second. The man caught it. That's what I thought, he said. The supervisor's smile vanished. You think you're special, he said. Everyone does when they're sitting in that chair. I'm not special, the man said. I'm accountable. The supervisor stared. That's a funny word to use right now. The man stepped closer. Read my ID, he said. The supervisor's face hardened. I already did. No, the man said. You glanced. The supervisor scoffed. You think this ends differently if I look again? I know it does. Silence fell between them. Thick. Uncomfortable. Outside the room, footsteps paused. A voice whispered something. The supervisor looked toward the door. What? He snapped. The door opened a crack. Front desk asking if we should release the lobby, a guard said. It's backing up. The supervisor sighed. Hold them. He turned back to the man. You see, he said. People waiting because of you. The man shook his head. Because of you. The supervisor stepped close again. Here's what's going to happen, he said quietly. We'll document this. You'll leave. And next time you come near a place like this, you'll think twice. The man felt anger rise. He let it. You're wrong, he said. Oh, the supervisor replied. About what? About who this hurts. The supervisor laughed. This doesn't hurt us. The man leaned in just enough for his words to land. It will. The supervisor's eyes narrowed. Is that a promise? It's a timeline. The supervisor stared at him for a long moment. Then he stepped back. Enjoy your wait, he said. He opened the door. Before leaving, he paused. Oh, he added. We're locking the building until this is resolved. The man's heart dropped. What? He asked. The supervisor smiled. Protocol. The door shut. The lock clicked. The man stood alone again. This time the silence felt different. He looked up at the camera. Your move, he said softly. And somewhere outside the room, a phone rang that no one answered. The phone stopped ringing. That bothered him more than the lock. Silence like that meant someone chose not to answer. The man sat back on the bench. The metal pressed into his spine. He rolled his shoulders once, slow, keeping control of his breath. Outside the door, voices returned. Muted. Arguing. You sure about this? A guard asked. Supervisor said hold. Another replied. Footsteps moved away. The man closed his eyes. He replayed the lobby. The rope. The laughter. The word nobody. He wondered how many times that word had been used in this building. How many reports it hid behind. The door opened. The first guard stepped in alone. The one with the smirk. The one who laughed the longest. He held the ID. All right, the guard said. Let's try this again. The man looked at the card in his hand. You going to read it this time? He asked. The guard leaned against the wall. I did read it. Out loud, the man said. The guard smiled. Why would I do that? So you hear yourself, the man replied. The guard pushed off the wall and stepped closer. You real confident for someone in a locked room. Confidence isn't the issue, the man said. Accuracy is. The guard snorted and glanced down. Name checks out, he said. Picture looks like you. Nothing special. Keep going. The guard raised an eyebrow. You ordering me now? No, the man said. I'm correcting you. The guard's jaw tightened. He read again. Slower. His lips moved on the smaller text. He stopped. Then shook his head. Yeah, no, he said. This don't mean what you think it means. The man felt it then. Not relief. Not fear. A pivot. What do you think it means? He asked. The guard held the card up. I think you printed something fancy online and hoped we wouldn't notice. The man stood. The guard stiffened. Sit down. No, the man said. The guard took a step back. You don't get to stand right now. I do, the man said. And you should step out. The guard laughed, but it cracked. Man, listen. The man interrupted him. Read the seal. The guard glanced down again, annoyed. Federal seal, he muttered. And nothing, the guard said. People fake these all the time. Call the number, the man said. The guard looked up. What number? The one on the back, the man replied. Bottom corner. The guard flipped the card. Squinted. He hesitated. Just a beat. That's internal, the guard said. Yes. We don't call internal. You do when you detain someone without cause. The guard swallowed. You threatening me again? No, the man said. I'm offering you a way out. The guard stared at him. You think you're above us? The man shook his head. No, he said. I think you forgot what below looks like. The guard stepped toward the door. Supervisor will deal with this. Bring him, the man said. And bring the ID. The guard paused at the door. You know, he said without turning around. Guys like you always think this ends with an apology. The man met his back with steady eyes. No, he said. It ends with a record. The guard left. The door locked again. The man exhaled. His hands shook now. Just a little. He sat back down and pressed his palms together until they steadied. Time passed. Then more voices. Faster this time. Wait, what does it say? One asked. Read it again, another replied. The door opened. The supervisor entered, holding the ID like it burned. His face had changed. Not fear. Calculation. You should have said something, the supervisor said. I did, the man replied. You didn't listen. The supervisor glanced at the camera. Then back at the man. This complicates things, he said. No, the man answered. It clarifies them. The supervisor's jaw tightened. Who else knows you're here? The man smiled for the first time. Everyone who needs to, he said. The supervisor stepped back. Outside, alarms began to sound. Not loud. Controlled. Building wide. The supervisor's radio crackled. Sir, a voice said. We have a call coming in. External. The supervisor looked at the man. What call? He asked. The man met his eyes. The one you should have made. The alarms stopped as suddenly as they started. Not emergency alarms. Notification tones. The kind meant to alert people with titles. The supervisor lowered his radio. His voice was calm, but his hands were not. What audit? He asked. The man sat back down on the bench. Slowly. Deliberately. The unannounced kind, he said. The supervisor forced a smile. You expect me to believe that? I don't expect anything, the man replied. I document. The door opened again. Another uniform stepped inside. Different cut. Cleaner. No smirk. She glanced at the man's wrists. Then the camera. Then the supervisor. Sir, she said. Legal is on the line. The supervisor stiffened. Already? He asked. Yes. She looked at the man now. Longer than anyone had yet. You didn't disclose, she said. I wasn't required to, the man replied. The supervisor laughed, short and sharp. You walk in here alone, he said. No notice. No escort. That's the point, the man said. To see what happens when no one thinks they're being watched. Silence spread. The guard from earlier hovered in the doorway. Pale now. Quiet. Release him, the supervisor said. Not yet, the man replied. The supervisor turned. You don't give orders here. The man reached into his coat. No rush. He pulled out a second card. Thicker. Official. He placed it on the bench. Badge. Seal. Signature. I do, he said. Just not loudly. The room changed. The woman swallowed. The supervisor picked up the card. This time he read it. All of it. His eyes moved slower with every line. He handed it back with care. What do you want? The supervisor asked. The man stood. I want the footage, he said. From the lobby. From this room. From every camera that saw me. The supervisor nodded once. And statements, the man added. From everyone who spoke to me. The supervisor hesitated. You'll get cooperation, he said. But this could have been avoided. The man met his eyes. That's the problem, he said. It's always avoided. The woman stepped forward. Sir, she said quietly, press is calling. The supervisor flinched. Who called them? He snapped. The man answered. I did, he said. Before I walked in. The guard in the doorway let out a breath he didn't know he was holding. The supervisor's face tightened. You set us up. No, the man said. You revealed yourselves. Voices rose outside. Fast. Nervous. A man in a suit appeared. Then another. Someone whispered, Inspector. The word traveled. The supervisor cleared his throat. Let's move this somewhere private, he said. This is private, the man replied, gesturing to the camera. And public enough. The woman checked her phone again. They're live, she said. Someone leaked the detainment. The supervisor closed his eyes. The man felt the weight now. Not triumph. Responsibility. He thought of the laughter. The silence. The cuffs. Release the building, the man said. The supervisor nodded. Effective immediately, he said into his radio. The door opened wider. The young woman from the lobby stood there. Phone still raised. Their eyes met again. She nodded. Thank you, she said. The man inclined his head. Outside, people watched. Not staring now. Listening. The guard who had cuffed him stood against the wall. Sir, he said. I didn't know. The man looked at him. That's why this matters, he said. The supervisor stepped forward one last time. This will ruin careers, he said. The man answered quietly. No, he said. The behavior did that. He turned toward the exit. The hallway felt different now. Wider. Brighter. As he walked, radios crackled with new orders. Names were asked for. Badge numbers repeated. At the doors he stopped. Looked back once. This isn't about me, he said. It's about who you think is nobody. No one laughed. Outside, cameras flashed. The man stepped into the light. And behind him, the system began writing its own report. The footage played without sound. That made it worse. The man stood behind the supervisor in the small review room. 3 screens glowed on the wall. Lobby. Hallway. Holding room. Start from the beginning, the man said. A technician nodded and rewound. There he was. Walking in. Coat straight. Hands calm. The metal detector beeped. The first laugh followed. The supervisor shifted. Pause, the man said. The screen froze on the guard's face. Mouth open. Smiling. Zoom, the man added. The technician zoomed. The smile looked different close up. Sharper. That's not confusion, the man said. That's comfort. The supervisor said nothing. Play. The scene moved fast now. Words visible even without sound. The lean in. The finger point. The step back. Pause. The frame caught the rope barrier sliding shut. Isolation, the man said. Textbook. The supervisor cleared his throat. We need context, he said. The man didn't look at him. This is context. They watched the cuffs come out. The technician swallowed. That was early, he said. They skipped steps. Yes, the man replied. They do when they think no one's watching. The supervisor rubbed his temples. Another screen switched on. A new angle. The phone. The young woman's phone. Vertical. Shaking slightly. Sound on. The guard's voice filled the room. You don't belong here. The words landed again. Harder this time. The supervisor winced. Stop, he said. No, the man replied. Let it run. The guard's tone shifted. Lower. Meaner. Or we take this outside. The technician looked sick now. Jesus, he muttered. The man watched himself on screen. Still. Quiet. He felt the old heat rise. Next, he said. They moved to the hallway footage. No audio. Hands on his arms. The turn toward the door. Timestamp, the man asked. The technician read it out. 3 minutes after initial contact, the man said. That's fast. The supervisor nodded reluctantly. Too fast. They played the holding room. The supervisor's own image appeared. Circling. Leaning in. The man said nothing. He let the screen speak. The supervisor watched himself threaten. Smile. Leave. When it ended, no one spoke. The technician broke the silence. There's more, he said. He pulled up a document. Incident reports. 3 years back. Similar language. Same phrases. Non-compliant. Suspicious behavior. Refused screening. Different names. Same guards. The man felt the weight settle. This isn't one incident, he said. The supervisor nodded slowly. It's a pattern. Say it again, the man said. The supervisor swallowed. It's a pattern. Phones buzzed in the room. Press updates. Headlines forming. The supervisor looked at the man. What happens now? He asked. The man answered without hesitation. Internal review. Suspensions pending. External oversight. And criminal? The man paused. That depends, he said. On cooperation. The supervisor nodded. I'll get statements. Unedited, the man added. Yes. The technician looked up. There's something else, he said. He pulled another clip. A guard in the break room. Laughing. Telling a story. Had this guy today, the guard said. Thought he was important. Laughter followed. The room felt colder. The supervisor stood. That's enough. No, the man said. That's the point. The supervisor faced him. You could have stopped this sooner. The man met his eyes. So could you. Silence again. Outside the room, voices rose. Reporters. Staff. Questions. The man straightened his coat. Preserve everything, he said. Nothing disappears. The supervisor nodded. As they walked out, the young woman waited by the door. She lowered her phone. They tried to make you nobody, she said. The man smiled faintly. They documented themselves, he replied. Behind them, the screens went dark. But the evidence stayed. And it was finally loud enough. They lined up outside the conference room. Guards. Supervisors. Legal. Human resources. No laughter now. The man sat at the end of the long table. Not at the head. He didn't need it. Folders stacked in front of him. Red tabs. Dates. Names. Let's begin, he said. A lawyer cleared her throat. We acknowledge procedural errors, she said. Say the word, the man replied. She hesitated. Bias, she said quietly. The room shifted. The supervisor from earlier stared at the table. Suspensions are recommended, the lawyer continued. Pending full review. Who? The man asked. She slid a list forward. 3 names. The first guard. The second guard. The supervisor. The man read them once. Effective immediately, he said. The supervisor looked up. You're ending careers, he said. No, the man replied. I'm ending behavior. The supervisor stood. You don't understand what this does, he said. People make mistakes. The man stood too. So do systems, he said. That's why we correct them. Silence pressed in. A woman from HR spoke next. Mandatory retraining will be implemented, she said. Bias awareness. De-escalation. The man nodded. And, he asked. And external monitoring, she added. For how long? The man asked. She glanced at the lawyer. Indefinitely. The man sat. Outside the room, voices rose. Reporters. Staff. Questions spilling into hallways. A phone buzzed. The lawyer glanced at it. It's live, she said. The man felt it then. The cost. Not to them. To him. He remembered the cuffs. The hallway. The room with no clock. You all right? Someone asked softly. He looked up. The young woman. The witness. I will be, he said. The door opened. Cameras flashed. The supervisor was escorted out first. Hands empty. Face pale. The first guard followed. Eyes down. The second guard hesitated at the door. He looked back at the man. I didn't think, he started. That's why this happened, the man said. The guard nodded and left. The building felt quieter after. Too quiet. The lawyer gathered her papers. There will be lawsuits, she said. Yes, the man replied. And threats, she added. Probably. She studied him. Was it worth it? The man thought of the lobby. The rope. The silence. Yes, he said. She nodded once and left. The room emptied. The man stayed seated. His hands shook now. Not from fear. From release. He pressed them flat on the table until they stilled. A message came through on his phone. From his wife. You okay? He typed back. I will be. He stood and walked to the window. Outside, people watched. Some angry. Some relieved. Some confused. He saw himself reflected in the glass. Tired. Older. Still standing. A reporter shouted his name. He didn't turn. This wasn't about the sound of it. Behind him, someone spoke. They'll remember this day, the voice said. The man turned. The woman from legal stood there. They always do, he replied. Just not the way they think. He walked out of the room. Down the hallway. Past the holding door. He paused there. Just a second. Then kept going. The system was still standing. But it had cracked. And cracks let light in. The building felt different that morning. No alarms. No laughter. No whispers. Only the hum of lights and the faint clatter of papers. The man walked through the lobby. People stared. Not at him. At themselves. He passed the rope barriers. Past the cameras. Past the desks where guards once laughed. A young woman caught his eye. Phone tucked away. She smiled faintly. You did it, she whispered. He nodded. Quietly. Not proud. Not triumphant. Just present. The first guard stood near the entrance. His uniform crisp now, but his posture defeated. He looked down at his badge, then up at the man. You were, he began faltering. Inspector, the man said. His voice calm. Firm. The guard swallowed. Couldn't speak more. The supervisor appeared behind him. Cleaned his glasses. Tried to hide the strain in his voice. Procedures are being rewritten, the man said. Oversight increased. Bias training mandatory. Records corrected. The supervisor nodded. Silent acknowledgement. No one spoke. Not immediately. The man turned and walked to the exit. Each step measured. Every eye followed. He paused at the door. Looked back once. This isn't about revenge, he said softly. It's about accountability. About showing that nobody is nobody. That every person matters. Even when they think you're invisible. The doors swung open. Fresh air. Street sounds. City life. He stepped outside. And the world waited. Not for applause. Not for recognition. But for change. A gust of wind lifted his coat. He adjusted it. Calm. Composed. Resilient. Somewhere behind him the building hummed. Policies would change. People would remember. And he would continue walking. Because nobody should ever be treated like nobody again.